This video is brought to you by PrizePicks. We are inching closer and closer to training camp, which means that there are players in position groups that we want to see things out of before we get to the start of the season. And to help me put a little checklist together, I'm bringing on the world famous Tyvis Powell to help me out here. Tyvis, thank you for coming on. Thank you for helping me out with these checklists today.
No, man, I'm excited, bro. Anytime we can talk some Browns, bro, you know I'm always up for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And given our history, we know that the topic will not stray far from football ever, right? We will never be derailed.
We're gonna try to stay online today. We're gonna try to keep it alive.
We're gonna try to keep the ADHD out of this conversation.
Try to get the answers that the fans want, not deviate.
Yeah, we're going to try to play within the structure of the offense today. We're going to see how that goes.
Sometimes you got to improvise, man, you know?
But we're going to start our checklist with the quarterback position. It's interesting to me because I think this position is going to be the source of a lot of discussion, obviously, right? There's no starter right now. You got two guys who are big names going for the position, in Shedeur and Deshaun Watson, at least have a pretty heavy profile behind them. I do wonder how important this competition will be given the Browns' history at the quarterback position. Like, you know, they've played everybody in the room for the last 2-3 years. So I do wonder if this is more of a who gets to go first situation versus a legit competition to determine who's going to be the starter for the team. But
I think that when you honestly, I really believe it's kind of too close to call. You know, like when Mary Kay came out with the report that Deshaun is leading and it's his job to lose, I think everybody kind of was like, okay, you know, to me, honestly, I didn't understand how they came up with that because nothing had happened for that to be the case. So obviously you start OTAs, obviously Deshaun goes out there and according to them, it's a gap. It was a wide gap. So it was let's name him the starter and move on. And then by the time we get to the end of OTAs, Shedeur has closed the gap and it's neck and neck. So to me, if that's truly the case, I would go with the young guy. Like if they're even, you always go with the young guy. That's just the rule of it all. So I'll be interested to see what happens when we start this camp, you know, because to me, somebody needs to separate themselves, you know. And like I said, I'm good either way. I'm good. I wanted to be Shedeur, but I'm good either way.
I have my own theory about why that report came out when it did. And who dropped that report or was the source for Mary Kay there. Long story short, I don't think it was football ops, right? Like it couldn't have been football. I couldn't imagine football ops.
It wouldn't make sense
like that, right?
How could
you make that decision when it's like
nothing has happened? Yeah. We ain't even been on the field yet. How can you say that? So yeah, the whole thing to me was like
there was a high-ranking executive for the Cleveland Browns who was doing a radio tour about a week before that report came out, and he was very, very eccentric about one party in that quarterback competition. Now, if you want to go and do the research, figure out who that was.
Oh, we know who that was. If you ain't been paying attention, then you missed it. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. That's where I think that came from. You know,
to me, it's interesting because it's when he said that, like, all right, so like, I'm not naive to the fact that the man is getting a bag this season, and I'm not naive to the fact that as a guy if I was the guy that was paying somebody that money, I absolutely want to see one last time, just one last time. You know what I'm saying? We a lot of the stuff was blamed on Kevin. A lot of people say Kevin's offense was stale, stagnant, didn't look good towards the end. Deshaun and Kevin never really meshed on offense. So let's see. Let's change the play caller. Let's change the offense line, get some new skilled players in there, and maybe that sparks something out of Deshaun. We paying the dude $230 million. I mean, we owe it to ourselves to give it one last opportunity. So to me, I understand it from that standpoint. I'm not naive to that fact.
Yeah, I would argue you ain't paying him $230 million. You paid him $230 million.
They getting 88 million. They getting 88 million of it back.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that money already spent. You know what I mean? Like what we doing? What we doing? We put ourselves in a position to spend more money on it? Like that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? We called it dead last year. What we doing? What we doing right now? You know what I mean?
They think one last shot. We didn't listen. We done updated the offensive line. We got some new weapons and we got a new play caller. Maybe this guy is more Deshaun style. Like that's kind of what they're looking at. I get it. Like I said, if I was paying somebody that much money, I understand and I totally get it. But at the end of the day, this is how I feel.
Hey, bro, somebody need to walk up in there and be like, "What the last offensive coordinator Deshaun style? What Ken Dorsey Deshaun style? That's supposed to be the last two offensive coordinators? Was his
Quincy,
style?
They want to make sure without a shadow of a doubt that this dude is shot. That's kind of, and it is what it is.
Yeah, put on that Washington game. That's all they need to know. But let's start. See, look, we already getting derailed. This show brought to you by ADHD. All right. Let's start with Dylan Gabriel, right? Because he's kind of a forgotten man in this conversation. And like, when I look at the grand scheme of things, I'm like, ooh, boy. This guy got the true NFL experience. You know what I mean? Like the full NFL experience. You're brought in. The coach likes you. You're their guy. They're like, we have a plan for you. They're showing you tapes of Brock Purdy being like, we think this could be you in our offense. They're showing you tapes of Bo Nix and they're saying, we think this is the kind of stuff that you could do for us. And you're thinking to yourself, those are starters. Like, oh, I'm out to start. And then that man get fired. And next thing you know,
you ain't that guy no more.
You tossing the ball back and forth with what's his name? Luke Flory. You know what I mean?
They took his number and everything. Man.
You out here grabbing a 19 Action News cameraman, asking him if he could catch the ball for you real quick so you can get some reps in. It's rough. It's cold world out there.
It's unfortunate because he didn't ask for any of this, and it's not like he did anything to deserve this. Like the thing that happened to him was he tried to play in a coach's system. Like he tried to play structural. He didn't want to take risk at all. And it became so stagnant because he was trying to be a coach pleaser instead of being a risk taker. And it ultimately like grew sour with the fan base. And then that guy gets fired. And now people don't know, like people look at you as a guy that if he comes in after an injury of a backup, like, okay, he could get us through the game, but he's never going to be the guy that's going to win us the game. And it's unfortunate because like the dude was a baller at Oregon. Like this dude was in the Heisman race, you know what I'm saying? So his situation is interesting because I don't know what you do with him. That's what I don't know. Like, because of the Deshaun Watson thing, because it's a him versus Shedeur thing, ultimately one of those guys, whoever loses, is going to be the number 2. So then you drafted Taylor Green, who is, by all accounts, is one of those guys that is a developmental quarterback. You take a guy in the 6th round, that's a developmental guy. That's a guy that we're not counting on. That's a guy that we see some potential in and we want to work with him and slowly bring him along and get him better. Do you cut him but you're only going to run 3 quarterbacks. So that Dylan might be the odd man out on this situation. And it's unfortunate because he probably will be a great backup in this league.
Yeah, the thing with Dylan Gabriel is he got in trouble for doing the thing that he's always done in his career, right? Like he's always been somebody who, if you're a coach, you could get this dude and he gonna run the offense and he gonna do what he needs to do. And he's, really book smart. And I think at a college level, his physical tools weren't holding him back as much.
Not
as
at all.
Right now,
yeah, he was able to overcome it for sure.
Yeah. Now his physical tools are absolutely a detriment to him, right? Like he just doesn't. Yeah. He just don't got it, right? Like it's just.
The problem is because of his size, he has to be able to overcome it. So usually shorter quarterbacks' arms is very strong. Because instead of me taking a 3 or 5 step drop, I can't see over the line. So that 3 to 5 turns to 7 to 9, and I have to be able to have the arm strength to still be able to zip it through.
Yeah.
And the problem is he doesn't have that. So that's and it's been so many times when you go back and watch the tape that guys were open, but because that offensive line or that defensive line was too tall, he couldn't see it. He couldn't see over it to throw the ball. So he was late or he missed it. And that's something that if you don't have the arm strength, you can't. You can't. It's just not going to be successful in the NFL being able to do that.
Yeah, you need to have some kind of extraordinary trait if you're going to be that small, right?
Yeah,
like
you think about you think of a Russell Wilson. He had a strong arm. The moon ball. You think of Kyler Murray. He's a heck of an athlete and agile. Like Dylan doesn't have neither one of those.
You played against Russ in college, right?
No, he left the year before I got there, but I played with Russ in Seattle.
I was about to say, young Russ I don't think people remember how good of an athlete young Russ was.
Yeah, that boy was a magician. That boy knew how to make $1 out of 15 cents for sure.
They will never understand that Russell Wilson wasn't a joke.
That boy. I used to sit on the sideline and be like, he got out of there. I'd be sitting there like, what is he doing? Oh, okay, all right, whatever.
Be calm too that whole time, just nothing on his face. Crazy, but yeah, I think for Dylan, what Dylan needs to demonstrate here is just like he just needs to continue to be composed, right? Like just be composed through this whole thing. It's probably not going to end with him being the starter. He's probably going to have to go somewhere else. And it's a rough deal. It's a tough hand, but like if you're going to have the career that people think you're going to have, right? People are projecting this guy to be a backup quarterback. Well, that's the world you're going to have to live in. Right, like that's just. Yeah. That's
I mean,
reality.
ain't nothing wrong with that. You can make a lot of money doing that, and like I say, if a quarterback goes down and like he rolls his ankle and he out for the rest of the game, Dylan is perfectly fine going in there and finishing that game. It's the stuff after that. Like if you're asking him to be the starter for half the season, like that's when the problem might come in. But I have no issue because the thing with coaches is they want a guy that can absolutely go in there and run the playbook. I can give you the playbook, you know it, you know where to go with the ball. Like you'll never have that issue with him. It's the physical part that you'll have the problem with.
All right. Anything else you want to add on Dylan's checklist for camp this year?
They did him wrong with the number thing. That's all I'm gonna say.
He went 18 right now.
Anytime that somebody come out there, and usually this how it works. You get traded, you go ask the person, hey, how much it's gonna cost for the number. When they don't even ask you for how much it's gonna cost, and they just wearing the number, and then they make you switch numbers. Oh, buddy, your days is numbered.
The organization said, nah, you don't got to worry about that, Jared.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. And they could have for you. They could have wore for the whole preseason because they both played. One play offense, one play defense. So they could have did it. He said, no, don't even worry about it, bro.
Nah, you can't be on the wrong side.
Get you up out of it.
Look, usually the guy with the double number is the dude who ain't going to make the team. You know what I mean?
Like, one of y'all ain't going to make it. That's what that tells me. And it ain't going to be the guy we just got. We just traded Miles for.
If you a wide receiver or a tight end and you not CD Lamb and you wear 88, like, hey man, you might not be here long. Like
pretty much.
They give you 88 during rookie camp. It ain't good. It's not a good sign.
I'm gonna tell you right, they ain't hiding it. They not trying to hide it from you.
You're like, why I get 4? Like
yeah, so hopefully Dylan, I don't want to see nobody out of the league. I want people to play as long as they can. So hopefully, he puts together a very solid preseason, which I anticipate he does. I really do. I think he's gonna go out there and demonstrate the offense, show that he knows where to go with the football. It's can he make enough plays in the limited reps that he has.
Yeah, and look, the journey in the NFL is real difficult, right? Like I wouldn't write him off to have like a stint in the spring. You know what I mean? Just so he can play and play well somewhere to kind of bounce himself back. I mean, we're seeing Dorian Thompson-Robinson try to do that. He's had some success with the Birmingham Stallions. It
was a blockbuster trade for him. What you talking about? It popped up on my phone.
But, that might have to be just because he got kind of a rough deal here. We'll see and Kevin seems occupied with Tua right now, you know what I mean? So it might be a little bit of a bumpy ride for him, but he just has to not lose faith in what he's always done throughout his career. Like, he's not going to win being a playmaker. He's not a playmaker. He's got to be, real disciplined about his approach there. All right, let's talk about Deshaun. Now, I'm not the biggest believer in Deshaun Watson at this point of his career. I've made that pretty clear.
We know. Trust me, we know.
Yeah, I have very good reason, I feel like, to be at this point with Deshaun. But let's work through a checklist of what we want to see from him, right? Because when we saw him in 2024, he was, I think 73rd out of 74 quarterbacks in success rate, EPA per play. He was bad.
Why do you know this? Why do you know this off the top?
I gotta talk about it. I gotta analyze the team, brother.
Listen, man, Deshaun, to me,
and I tell you who's 75th too in that same stat. If you want to know, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You want to know who is 60th this year? It's 62.
Dylan and Shedeur?
Yes.
You are sick. All right, listen. Let me lock you in because you're gonna make me deviate. All right, here we go. So the question is, what do I want to see out of Deshaun Watson? Is that the question?
Well, first, let's kind of break down what went wrong for Deshaun in 24 and like how we can, if we're going through training camp, right, and we're trying to give him a clean slate, if we see these things from him. Like, for example, I think the biggest drop-off Deshaun has had, like, I think there's many things that have fallen off for him, but his confidence is clearly never recovered from before everything happened with him in Houston. And like, I thought 2024 was just like, for a number of reasons, right? He was injured during 2024. He said that. So like, that's going to affect your confidence in yourself. The thing in Cleveland, it just wasn't working in Cleveland. He was dealing with the pressure of everybody being like, well, Joe Flacco was good in this offense. Why can't you be good in this offense? There was a lot going on there, bubbling up mentally for him. And I think that resulted in him playing the least confident football that, I mean, easily he's ever played. But like,
I think a lot went into the 2024 season because I think that was 2024 Ken Dorsey's year?
2024 was Ken Dorsey's year. Yeah, it was Ken Dorsey's
Okay,
offense.
so I think what happened was, I think 2024 was when the offensive line truly showed that they got old, right? So I think our offensive line, the reason that they was built and brought to play here was because of Kevin's offense. The way Kevin's offense was, that West Coast style, that zone play action off of that. Like, it's a certain style and mentality that you have in that. When you scrap that whole style and go to spread football, essentially, they're not built for that. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole new scheme for me. That's not what I thrive in, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was a confidence issue with the offensive line to begin with. Then on top of that, you add Deshaun Watson is a scrambler. So when you watch those early games, when he first played, what was that, 2022, whatever, after the suspension, when he first started playing, like, the offensive line didn't know where he would be at, so they didn't know how to block their people and stuff like that. I think you add that component to me not being confident in this new scheme as an offensive line, it makes us play a certain type of way. And I think Kevin understood that the offensive line wasn't great. So they became this quick game team. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it at all. This quick game, we're going to get the ball out fast. We're going to run slants and stuff like that. And ultimately, it just didn't work. We didn't have guys that could win routes at the wide receiver position. You know, this is an Amari Cooper that's almost at the end, that doesn't really want to be here anymore, that wanted the extension and all of those things, but wasn't getting it. So you add all that up, it looks terrible when you watch them play. And Deshaun Watson just never was comfortable in that offense. That's why I keep saying a lot of times a lot of people are trying to say that Kevin's offense or even / Ken Dorsey's offense wasn't fitting Deshaun's style. So that to me is the only optimism that I have. Like maybe Todd Monken can find something that works for Deshaun. That's the only optimism. But when you talk about what I want to see in training camp, to me is consistency, that confidence that you talked about. I would love to see this guy do some of the dances and some of the antics that he did after he made the big play. All of that was gone. If he gets that back, that's a big part of it. But if he then becomes more consistent, because I think even in this little bit of OTAs, it was plays where he threw some passes and I was like, oh man, that's a dime. But then you hear about passes after that and it's like he missed overthrowing guys in warmups and stuff. Like, what are we talking about here? So to me, consistency is the big thing for me. And confidence. Those are the two things that I would love to see from Deshaun Watson.
PrizePicks is a fun way to earn cash while you watch your favorite teams. No complex betting rules. Just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Here are my picks for this upcoming season, AFC North edition. Jimmy Bernard, I have less than 475. This has to do with volume available in Pittsburgh's offense. Quincy Judkins, I have over 975. Browns improved line. I think the run game is going to be better with it. Chase Brown, under 900 yards. Joe Burrow equals less rushing yards usually for the Bengals offense. Mark Andrews, more than 475 yards. Lamar's going to need a safety blanket. Check to see if PrizePicks is available in your state. You could follow me on the app at Quinn_C to see all my lineups. Download the PrizePicks app today. Play $5 and get $50 in lineup to download the app using the link in the description. Yeah, I would throw confidence in there for sure. Like just decisiveness, I think is more where I'm leaning towards with him specifically. You know, if he dances and all that, that's cool, whatever. Like, hopefully you scoring touchdowns, right? But it's this decisiveness. I think you watch some of those games in 2024, and even when he did get a clean pocket, there was some stun lock for him. He was afraid to try things downfield. And that might have been to his shoulder injury, him throwing the ball downfield.
Even that Dallas game, like, some of the throws he threw in that Dallas game, it was horrible. Like the deep ball was just like gone. He was throwing it out of bounds. I'm like, dude, like you missing guys by a lot.
I remember looking at the wide receivers during that game, and I'm like, oh no, they don't think this is new. Like, cause you know wide receiver body language when they over it, right? When they know the ball ain't gonna get there, when they don't think they're gonna have a chance. Like they have a very specific body language, and they're like, nah, he overthrew it again type shit. And that's what we saw week one. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was bad. Like that Dallas game, I was like, who-wee. I mean, he was where he wasn't even close in some of his passes. It was like you remember Joe Bowserman for Ohio State? It was like that. It was like, and I'm not even being funny. It looked like that. It was that bad.
You pulled out a Joe Bowser. Was that before Beckman or after? That was after Beckman. Right?
That was after Beckman. That was Braxton.
Yeah, Braxton. Yeah, I'm gonna say
Braxton was there. They started Joe Bowser, man. He had that game, and everybody was like, I think it was Coach Fick was the coach. They was like, what the heck are you doing? Play Braxton.
It was the most Jim Tressel thing of all time, right? Like,
well, Jim was already gone. That's what I'm saying.
It was Fick was running the Tress playbook, which that's what Fick does, right? Fick run that Tress playbook, and he was like, well, what would Tressel do? And you know what Tressel would do? He played Beckman over to Red Powell.
Yeah, he did do that.
He was out there running the two quarterback system in the national championship. Yes. I remember it drove people crazy because he was playing like Lydell Ross over who was it? It wasn't Carlos Hyde, was it? No, Carlos Hyde is
I don't think
it was Beanie Wells. He was playing, he was playing Lydell Ross over Beanie Wells. And I remember every Saturday people in my house would be mad about that.
Well, I mean, hey. This is where we come full circle. The Browns is in that same boat right now. So it's like I said, it's gonna be interesting. To me, it's a no-brainer of who you should play. But like I said, I can't sit here and tell you I'm naive to why, they would want Deshaun Watson. Like again, the money makes a difference. It does. But like at the end of the day, if you're trying to build a winning culture and all of those things, and you know that these two guys are close, you always go with the younger guy. Like that's just the rules of football, of any sport.
I also do wonder, like, as much as we talk about clean slate, I hope that Monken is not too romanticized to the idea of what Watson used to be. Right, we're gonna talk.
But you can't. It's hard to
in that. Yeah,
it's so hard to look at Deshaun and see what he was and not think as a coach that I can't be the guy that get him back. Especially if he gives you a glimpse of it in practice. Like if you go out there and he does something and it looks like the old you get enamored with that because it's like ooh. Because think about it. If Todd Monken gets Deshaun Watson after how many 2-year-long layoffs to get back to playing how he was playing, that man like is a guru. He's like a quarterback guru. That's what they'll say about him. So that I like, come on now. You can't sit there and tell me you wouldn't feel the same way if you was tired.
I think I was watching the TikTok that was like, you got to just get to the free throw line in life at some point because you're going to take an L and you're going to want to get it all back in one play.
But I'm saying,
you just gotta get to the line.
You can't sit here and tell
me
to
the line, brother.
that if you was the quarterback coach for the Browns and you saw Deshaun Watson have a moment where it looked like dude from the Texans, you wouldn't think like, man, it's still in there. Like I might be getting on to something.
I would think to myself, well, that man got one coach fired.
I'm telling you how these coaches think, bro. Yeah. They think like,
look, it's a reason why Cam Newton started for the Patriots, right? Like this stuff does happen. I'm just saying, when has it worked?
When has it worked? That's a good never. Yeah. What you mean? Phillip Rivers just came 5 years off the couch.
Yeah, did the Colts make the playoffs?
Not at all.
No. This is the Carson Wentz trap. Every year, Carson Wentz goes somewhere. We can fix him. We gonna get him right. Yeah. What happened? Carson Wentz ended up playing 2 games. You gotta avoid that trap because as much as Deshaun was a great quarterback earlier in his career, especially before 2021, the league's changed a lot since he was a good quarterback. Like, we talked about the cover 2, all that stuff that's changed up, how defensive players, the too high revolution. So it's like that has all happened. The league has changed dramatically. He missed out on that change and he's never really adjusted. And then he's talking about another 700-day layoff in between games. You know what I mean? And the first one ain't go great.
I'm just telling you, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm telling you
I know
how Todd Monken in their front office is probably thinking. They like, oh man, like come on. Like you can tell how the social media work. They put out his best plays where he throwing dimes like, look, I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, you are informing me of how people get addicted to drugs. And I am telling Todd Monken, don't do them drugs. You know? Like, that's all I'm saying. Right? Like, you like, yeah.
That's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. Drugs addicted for a reason. I understand, don't do them.
That's pretty much it.
That's what we doing right now. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make sure Todd stays clean because I understand how he can fall for the Deshaun Watson allure. I just need him to take that cold shower, which is that 2024 tape. And go
I agree with you. I agree. But listen, this is the thing though. I gotta tell everybody. I think that honestly, you got camp opening up at the end of the year, at the end of the month. You know, you got some preseason games. I personally don't think that they're going to name the starting quarterback until after the Bills preseason game. They had that joint practice.
Yeah,
I think that to me is probably what's going to be the separator, and I think that's probably like the latest you should be able. That's probably the latest you can go to before naming a starter because they give you roughly 3 weeks before the first game. So I think that ultimately. They gonna. I really think it should be Shedeur. I really do. But if you tell me Deshaun Watson, I will have 2 games to see it. I'll be able to see it for myself. I plan on attending a training camp practice at some point. I'm gonna watch the preseason games. I need to see it. I better be able to turn the tape on and be like, okay, he is just. And it can't be close. That's the thing. Like, he has to be head and shoulders better than Shedeur Sanders. If he's not, and it's close, there's no reason. Absolutely no reason.
I feel like if we were going to get that result, we'd be hearing that he looked like Tom Brady at OTAs because, like, let's be real. It's OTAs and he a 10-year vet. You know what I mean? He should.
I feel what you're saying. I do. I really do.
If he back, he should look. It wouldn't be a question, right? Like
that's fair. It wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't have been. Shedeur closed the gap like this, and now all of a sudden we don't. The
we wouldn't be covering Mary Kay's reports if this man was looking. You know what I mean? Like the only reason we're talking about Mary Kay's reports is because, it's probably not. Nobody's running away with it at this point, and especially not Deshaun Watson. And I've always thought with this quarterback competition, the longer they go without naming a starter, the more it favors Shedeur. So
Shedeur, correct.
Roll in to Shedeur here.
Mm-hmm.
Young quarterback here, right? So, like, whereas, like, the checklist could be frustrating with a guy like Deshaun who's expensive, older, right? We're like, we shouldn't be having to do checklists here, right? Do we kind of paid for a solution? I think he's the first quarterback that the Browns have paid big time money to ever since expansion. Which, think about that. That's a great trivia question.
Baker didn't get it.
Didn't get that money. He didn't come close.
I mean, technically they paid Brock Osweiler's contract.
Yeah, but they didn't give him that contract.
They didn't give it to him, but they paid it.
They announced a quarterback that they had signed to because they didn't even have to sign him to that. Anyways, but let's talk about Shedeur here, right? So Shedeur, young quarterback, a lot of debate about his rookie year. I think just because he's in the position to where if you're looking at this quarterback room, who's the youngest, who gives you the most to believe in, a lot of people are just going to want to see Shedeur just because of those factors in that room, which I can't blame people for feeling like that. I don't think this is a playoff team right now with like, what would be the bar? If Deshaun could be Case Keenum, I don't think that takes us to the playoffs, right? Like, I don't.
No, you have to see. You're dependent on. First of all, it's a new offensive line. The chemistry has to. Yeah, that's gonna take some time. You got your running back who's probably going to be the biggest part of your offense is coming back off of an injury from last season where he didn't finish the season. And your best playmakers is a tight end who also, I don't know if he even participated in OTAs because he had a surgery or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you got two rookie wide receivers that have to come in and be essentially Pro Bowlers first year. Like that's a lot. You're asking a lot.
A new
with
offense.
A new coach, new offense. You got a new defensive coordinator. You don't know what that's going to look like. You got a new the defensive line took a significant hit because now there is nobody that will absolutely be double team or triple team every single play and give everybody else one-on-ones. They can manipulate double teams now. They can push it up. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's crazy that on the fly, they have to try to make all of this work and still have a successful season. So it's a lot to ask for, but I'm not saying it's impossible at all. I fully anticipate that they figure it out. I hope they figure it out sooner than later. And you got to take advantage of the fact that not only is this happening to you, this is also happening to two other teams in your division.
Yeah. Now, if I go through what I liked and what I want Shedeur to improve in his game from what I saw last year, right? I think one of the things I liked about his game was when he would get out there and improvise. It wasn't just like normal kind of like scramble drill stuff. Like sometimes he was anticipating angles, throwing to anticipated angles, and throwing guys open from the scramble drill, right? Which I think is that's something that could eventually be a high level skill for him. I don't know if you can rely on it, but you can definitely get some big plays out of it during the season. I thought his athletic ability much better than I thought it was going to be coming out of college. Because that Nebraska team was worse.
I think a lot of people, the one thing that people walked away from this past season, one thing is that you thought, the way they made Shedeur sound, he was a slug. He can't really move like that. And I thought he did an unbelievable job at extending a lot of plays, and made some things happen that was like, oh, his mobility is better than anybody ever was giving him credit for. So I think that that's something that obviously you have to take with you moving forward. And if you're a team, now the thing about it is it's on tape. So it ain't like nobody going to be shocked about it no more. They know he's got that ability.
He got that Jacoby Brissett speed. Like you see Jacoby Brissett 40, it's like a 5.5 or something crazy like that, like crazy slow. But then you watch Jacoby Brissett and he can break off and he got that quick feet and he just like really smart with where he wants to be in space. I think that's really one of Jacoby's best traits. He has a little bit of Jacoby Brissett in him in that way, where it's like, I don't think as long, like if he broke out for like a 30, 40-yard run, we'll see that he's not the fastest guy in the world, but it doesn't matter because he's quick and he knows how to, he doesn't look lost when he's trying to navigate space in congested areas. So it ends up working
I think
out.
it's like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is not a 4-4 guy at all, right? But he's mobile enough that it hurts the defense. He makes those mobility plays that it hurts you. Like, God dang it. Trust me, I've been on defense. I know when that quarterback that ain't fast get that first down, you be like, man. And that's kind of what Shedeur brings. Is that it's not like if he take off, he gonna just outrun everybody. He ain't Vic. But it's like his mobility is annoying. It's annoying how mobile he is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you look over and you see Jimmy Garoppolo out there doing that first down.
I can't stand it. Oh my God, I can't stand it. That right there, between that and a receiver that spin the ball, them two things used to grind my gears. Boy, I be like, man, you gotta get out my head. You gotta get out of here with that.
They go right into your face too. First down, and then drop the ball right there too. Like,
I can't stand it.
Disrespectful. So I think those parts of his game I really did like. What concerns me a little bit with Shedeur, how do I put this?
Being able to play 4 quarters consistently.
Well, I think that's part of it.
Not going off the cliff.
Yeah, that's all. Like, I think this all kind of falls under a general category of like, I would love for him to demonstrate a little bit more mental discipline when he's out there. You know,
I think that honestly, some of the stuff he did, because I was having this conversation earlier, right? So I tried to go game by game. And the thing about Shedeur that a lot of people don't give him credit for is he's actually really smart. And he picks up things quick. But see, where the problem where I think a lot of people have the disconnect with Shedeur is they look at the final result and be like, this guy ain't it. Or they look at the advanced stats and say, this guy ain't it, right? But they don't take into the fact that this guy also didn't really have a training camp. This guy didn't get no rest with the ones until he went in with Baltimore. This guy was learning chemistry on the fly, learning plays on the fly, all of this stuff, right? And if you look at even the Baltimore game, remember they did the 7 across thing and it gave him fits. He didn't know what the heck was going on, right? By the time he got to the end of the season, if they gave him that seven across look, he was eating that up. He understood where to go with the ball. So he loses Baltimore game. The Tennessee Titans game, he outplays Cam Ward. You go to the Bills game, quiet as it's kept, he was right there with Josh Allen's performance as far as the level of production in the game. Obviously, it comes down to the left tackle.
There were a couple of fourth quarter interceptions. In that game? I think they're definitely in the Buffalo game. I'm not sure. I think he was good in the end of the Tennessee game. But I think the Buffalo game, he did throw, I think, a crossbody.
See, and that right there, that is where he's got to stop. Because there'll be the interceptions where I'm like, what are you doing? Like, live to see another down.
Yeah, there was one play. I forget what game it was. But
Pittsburgh.
It was a Pittsburgh. It was like a third. It was a game they lost. But I think it might have been Baltimore. But it was like there was a play here, 3rd and 3. It wasn't an interception or anything like that. But it was at the end of the game. And they had ran, I think it was like a whip route to one side. It was Jerry Jeudy. It was basically they gave him a zone man beater in the bunch where it's like, okay, they have the whip route there if it's a man and you could beat it off that. And then they had something over there to beat the zone. They had got it for a short game. And then he had basically Gage Larvin on a 9 on one side of the play. And
and he did.
He throws
it was
the
Judy.
9 to
that was the
Larvin.
Gage. Yeah, that was the Ravens game.
Yeah, and he throws the 9 to Gage.
It was like 3rd and 5, and Jerry Jeudy was wide open on the sail route, but he threw the 9, which Gage had, and then they ripped it out of his hand. Which
again, like the throw. I think that kind of perfectly encapsulates what Shedeur can do and what sometimes frustrates coaches with him, which is beautiful throw. It would have been a hell of a play. But why are we putting the game in Gage Larvin's hands at that moment?
I think the problem is and this is something that he's got to grow on. All right, so like
it's complicated.
I think
you know what I mean?
It is because what makes Shedeur is that I think Shedeur failed on the part of he trusts his guys a little too much. Like he trusts his guys to be able to make the 50-50 play. But the problem is the Browns receivers weren't 50-50 playmakers. I think that was a problem. Like in a one-on-one situation, there's more times than not, who do you trust to win and win that play? At the receiver position last year, Harold Fanning, that is it. That was the only person that you confidently can say, if I throw him a 50-50 ball or 50-50 play, he can make that play. The rest of them was not the case. So I think he was throwing to a group of guys that didn't come through for him. Because, for example, if Gage Larvin was CeeDee Lamb and he threw that pass, CeeDee Lamb probably come up with that ball, right?
But
like, they probably win that game.
I would say this, though. The issue with me is like, if that was CeeDee Lamb, then that's exactly where the ball should go.
I agree with you.
But,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So
but
you're
in the design of that play, CeeDee Lamb would have been running the sail because that's where they wanted the ball to go. And like my point is like this with Shedeur.
He doesn't take the layup. He's a risk taker. That's it. He's a risk taker.
He prioritizes that sometimes over like just what makes the most sense to keep the game going.
See, but I can't. I understand, and I hear what you're saying. This is the fine line between being good and being great. And this is the problem because if you want to be good and you want to just do the right thing, you throw the out and you live to see another down. But if you want to be great, you got to take a risk at some point. And like that's the problem we got with Dylan Gabriel because he wouldn't do this.
No, I agree with you. I don't mind the confidence there.
It's.
But also, I would love to pair it. It's like I don't mind it, but it's like also, I don't think Peyton Manning throwing that 9 to Gage Larvin.
Gage. I think if it's Marvin.
But again,
Peyton had Marvin and Reggie Wade.
There was a reason why Gage was running the 9, and it was Gage out there running the 9.
But also though, Q, you gotta take this into consideration. Who was he the most comfortable throwing to? Gage, because Gage did the hungry dogs or whatever they called it after practice. He was throwing to him all that time. When he was with the threes on the other field, he was throwing to Gage. So he had the most chemistry. You got to remember, he hadn't worked with the ones at all. His most chemistry was with Gage. So
trust me, I've heard it.
It's like if I was playing backyard football and my homeboy, I've been playing with my homeboy all this time. If he triple cover, I'm still going to throw it to him because that's who I'm comfortable throwing the ball to. So, like I said, I get it. But I also am mad.
Time out. You going to throw the triple coverage?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you play safety at Ohio
If I don't, because what my problem is, I feel like I'm like Jameis Winston. I could fit this in there.
Now, that brings me to... thank you. You just helped me transition to a point. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Jameis, where it's like if you ever heard people who talk to Jameis about football.
He giveth and he taketh.
Yeah. Jameis is like what? I think they used the term savant-like when he was interviewing for the combine. Like all this goofy stuff that Jameis be out here doing, that man knows football. I promise you.
I never said nobody ever questioned that.
Yeah. But Jameis is talented. Right? But the reason I feel like Jameis has never been what people thought Jameis could be coming out of Florida State is because of something that we also know about Jameis. not the most disciplined dude in the world, right? Like, I think it's a fair observation of Jameis Winston's entire career. Is that, for all the Jameis Winston and all he knows about football, if you show him a too high shell and he has a post over the middle of the field, you know where that ball is going. Like, he's throwing the post. So you know,
sure.
You can go in and take it. Like, that's what he's going to do. And I think with Shedeur, there's a little bit of that in the game. No matter what's called, if he feels like he has a good one-on-one look with the wide receiver he has chemistry with, Shedeur's going to want to, he's going to want to take it, right?
Well, he wants to make the big play. Yeah, that's just what he's not afraid to try to take the big play.
And as much as I appreciate that he's not afraid of the moment or afraid of a big play, I think in order for him to be able to stay on the field and develop the way that he needs to as a quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
He needs to find a better balance.
I agree. That is, if Shedeur want to take the next step,
I don't need you to become Dylan Gabriel, right? I don't need you to be a rope.
No, because we got that. We got that on the roster.
I love the playmaking and all of that you could do when you break outside the pocket. But also, if it's 3rd and 3, we just need a first down to keep the game going. And we got the lead. Throw the sale. Okay.
I hear what you said.
Like what Daddy used to always say.
What can't be mad at it though, Q, because it was a dime.
It was. It was a dime. But I don't need people to be upset at him, but I need him to understand what he needs to do in that moment. Right? Like
he definitely need to find the balance. If he truly want to be in this league for a long time and then be amongst the greats, you do need to find the balance and understand the situation.
Because that's the kind of stuff.
This one scenario that we talking about, I cannot be mad at him. I just can't be mad at him.
That's the kind of stuff that leads to reports leaking out about you. That's like Shedeur likes to do street ball and all that garbage, right? Like, it's because
it really wasn't though.
It's not street ball though. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But it leads to those reports because people look at that and they go, "Oh, he can't read." I don't think the issue is that he can't read or that he can't process the defense. I think it's just sometimes, I think the same thing happens.
He's too confident in himself and his teammates. That's what it is.
Same thing happens with Cam Ward, by the way. Because I watched that Miami tape of Cam Ward, and I was like, "Ooh, boy, you show him a little bit of candy on the outside, he gonna throw that shit." Every time he gonna throw that shit. Ooh. And look, teams are gonna know that about Shedeur, right?
Put a little cheese on it.
Put a little cheese on there. Yeah. Press Denzel Boston. You know what I mean? Creep towards the center line. If you the same thing, he gonna throw that boy. He
gonna look over is this? We gonna be
Route 9, baby. And he gonna throw that bitch downfield. That's just an observation I've made. Right?
He better make sure he get him a Jamar Chase or something like that if he gonna play like that.
This is why I think it's gonna be interesting. The connection with Denzel Boston and Shedeur Sanders. I can see it going one or two ways. One way I can see it as being brilliant for Shedeur because he's a 50-50 ball guy. He can go up and get it, and he's gonna really help complete a lot of those chunk plays that Shedeur was wanting to complete. I do also worry that since we know Shedeur wants to make those plays, that could be a little bit of a crutch that he leans on. And I think he becomes a little over-reliant on it, and it makes it hard to sustain offense drive to drive.
I think what he has to do is he has to get the reputation that he will take the easy stuff. It's one of those situations. For example, Dylan Gabriel is a perfect setup for Shedeur Sanders. Why do I say that? So I was listening to Jalen Ramsey. He was on somebody's podcast. He was talking to Dion about Shedeur. He said, I knew the play. I knew they was going to run that bang gate, and I was ready to jump the bang gate. Right? At that point, that was true because Dylan has shown we ain't throwing the ball deep. So teams started flat-footing everything.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the Raiders game. Why was Isaiah Bond able to get wide open on that post like that? Because up until that point, we ain't threw the ball downfield all year. So that's why it worked. It worked in his favor. Shedeur got to play the game. He's got to get these DBs to get flat foot, just to get a little bit lax. Like, all right, he ain't going to do it right now. And then you take that shot. Don't do it. Don't be just, I'm a shot guy. Like, don't do that. Like,
everybody
make them get tight and try to get, on some of those situations where it's like, I'm about to try to jump this, then hit him over the head.
Yeah, like he has the icing to his game that you could see being really nice. I just need him to get that base down, right? Like the mundane stuff, right? Like this is the stuff that's been in and out with him, right? The feet on his drops. Some games is pretty good. It shows progress. Some games is like, what happened to the last 2 weeks? His like small detail stuff too. Like I don't think if he has better play action drops, he's going to be like a much better quarterback, but like what that signifies if you're working on those small details at a high level, right? He's got to embrace some of the mundaneness of the quarterback position because you can't have guys just being like, okay, well, Shedeur ain't going to take that, so we just going to, roll all the way out here and be comfortable, because that's going to create the same problem, but in reverse with Dylan Gabriel that you mentioned that Dylan Gabriel had, right?
Right, yeah.
I think that's why I think the Denzel Boston thing is interesting, because I can see him getting carried away and being like, I'm lobbing this bitch to Denzel Boston.
Hey, listen, if Denzel come out, Denzel start the season off early,
Dante Culpepper types.
I'm talking about just jumping and dunking on people.
Yeah,
Shedeur he might get carried away with it. Yeah. He might. He might.
For him, it's finding that balance, especially in late game situations. Because I think if he took that shot in the second quarter, it wouldn't have bugged me, right?
I respect that. No, I get it.
Fourth quarter,
again,
we can kick a field goal to win it.
Gage
we on the 30 dog.
Q, I want to remind you that Gage had the ball in his hand. It was a dime. Yeah, I just want to make sure we point that part out.
Where did Gage Larvin play football last year?
Gage Larvin was the guy in preseason that everybody was raving about.
Where did Gage Larvin play football last year? And how many games was he active?
He was active for it. He turned out to be the punt returner at the end, so he was active
how many games? He was active for how many games? I'm sorry, you gonna put the game in somebody's hand at wide receiver. I don't want to be active for 17 games.
I would say Gage was probably active for probably 8 or 9 games.
Bro, you throw the ball to a practice squad player at the end of the game.
He had the ball in his hand, bro. Like, I'm not mad at Shedeur for
booty naked
I'm just not.
I'm sorry. He gotta be so open it hurts. Like,
he had it. He had the ball. Though.
That ain't no 50-50 ball if it's Gage Larvin. You know what I mean? That's a 70-20.
Don't be doing Gage like this, man. Gage gonna have a preseason this year again.
All right, Tyvis, how many 50-50 balls you've seen Gage Larvin come down with? So why we throwing it? Why we throwing it? Why we throwing it at the end of the game?
He had the ball, Q. Hey. Q. He had the ball.
Hey, man. If it was Jerry Jeudy that dropped the ball and he had threw it to Jerry Jeudy, we would all be like, that's not Shedeur's fault. Jerry got to catch that. You throw it to Gage Larvin, I'm going to have to look at you like, hey, dog, I know that ball wasn't supposed to go there.
Speaking of the receiver room, everybody's been talking Denzel Boston. I actually am higher on Casey Concepcion.
I can't wait till pads get on.
I agree with you, but the reason that I'm higher on Casey Concepcion is because I think his releases is so good that to me means more than what Denzel is doing. I think that being able to win the route right now, me being a former defensive back, there's nothing that puts you more in a panic than getting beat off the line, because it's OS mode for the rest of the route. So if Casey Concepcion, if you go back and watch like his highlights and stuff, he is really, really good on his releases. Yeah. And I just think that that's going to be very serviceable, because it gets you in a route and it gets you that space that if a quarterback recognizes him winning right now, you don't have to throw the ball, like you don't have to throw him open. He's already open. It creates that separation that you want. So I actually think that Casey Concepcion actually is gonna give a defense more fits than Denzel Boston will. Now, the issue with KC is the catch part. If he finished this season with an 85% catch rate or something like that, he'll go on and have a really good season.
No, I like his skill set a lot.
Yeah.
But just to kind of wrap up our conversation about the quarterbacks here, I think I think for Shedeur, just do the small stuff better, right?
Yeah, that's it. Just
do
you
small stuff.
take the understand the situation and take the layups when they present themselves.
Mm-hmm. I hope he plays all 3 preseason games because I
would imagine why he wouldn't.
Yes. Especially like when situational football is something you want to see from a young quarterback. Like
correct. Yeah. And it was so much controversy about him getting taken out in the 2-minute drill last year with Kevin. Like, so yeah, I don't think they're gonna make that mistake again.
Look, Kevin kept Tyler Huntley in the league. Boy, I know there's one guy who does not believe all that they hear about Kevin Stefanski, and that's Tyler Huntley. He in that locker room like he was always good to me.
I wonder if he ends up in with the Falcons for the preseason.
He just got a nice little backup contract for the Ravens. So
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Good for him.
So look, hey, you could argue maybe the Ravens don't give him that try. Kevin ain't out here like, I'm gonna give him some tape.
Kevin definitely looked out for him. Boy. I don't know what Snoop did to him, boy. That's his dude.
That's his guy. Okay, I've heard from too many people that Cam really likes Snoop Huntley. It's the most random shit in the world.
It is. It really is. But hey, whatever.
But I think that's the kind of stuff we want to see for Shedeur. I think throughout the preseason, and if we can get to the regular season there, because if he can have that stuff to his game, sustain some long drives and just get real comfortable doing that, and then he could play make. Now we talking about something, right? Now we talking about something worth paying. So that's kind of the goal there for Shedeur, the quarterback room in total.